Hey there, sports fans. Bobby C out at Yankee Stadium. Trying times right now around the Big Apple and around the world. So that means a little bit of a different spin on our regular sports roundup here this morning. So instead, I'm going to start off this segment with our top 3 trending sports headlines. We will begin, of course, with COVID-19. 4 more players from the National Basketball Association have tested positive for coronavirus. All 4 players are from the Brooklyn Nets, and that includes star Kevin Durant. Shocking news there. Other big news from around the world of sports. The Kentucky Derby, for the first time since 1945, the end of World War II. It will not go down in the month of May. The Kentucky Derby has been moved to September. But the biggest news this week comes to us via NFL free agency, where Tom Brady is not returning to New England. He will not be a Patriot. First time in 20 years that we can say that. Tom Brady will be signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Special treat this morning, though. We will have my top 10 Yankees of all time. Here are the rankings. Coming in at number 10. Holy cow, I'm taking Phil RIZZUTO. Most of the best Yankees are renowned for their slugging, but RIZZUTO was a legend because of his fielding at shortstop. The Gold Glove Award didn't become a thing until the year after RIZZUTO retired, but Scooter undoubtedly would have won a bunch of them. The one award he did win was AL MVP in 1950 when he caught fire at the plate and batted .324. He was a 5-time All-Star, a 7-time World Series champion, and a Baseball Hall of Famer. And in his amazing career behind the microphone as a longtime voice of the Yankees, and maybe, just maybe, you now understand why he belongs on a list like this. Phil's number 10 is also in Monument Park. That's where you'll find these 2 number 8s. Bill Dickey is one of the best hitting catchers in the history of Major League Baseball. Among the 23 catchers who have logged at least 7,000 career plate appearances, Dickey's .313 batting average reigns supreme. From 1929 to 38, Dickey batted at least .310 in 9 of his 10 seasons, including a remarkable 1936 campaign in which he hit .362 with an OPS of 1,045. His strikeout percentage in those 10 seasons was a mere 3.37. In 1935, he had just 11 strikeouts and 491 plate appearances. The 11-time All-Star was also a key part of 7 World Series championships. How about the greatest Yankee pitcher of all time? In at number 8, the chairman of the board, Whitey Ford. Ford is the franchise leader in career wins with 236. Ford won 25 games and a Cy Young Award in 1961. But look closer at the numbers. He had a sub 3.25 ERA in every season of his career, including a 4-year stretch from 1955 to 58 with a cumulative 2.41 ERA. He was just as good during the postseason, posting a 2.71 ERA in 22 career starts in the World Series. As a result, the Yankees won 6 titles, with Ford making multiple starts in 5 of them. Between the 1960 and 61 World Series, he pitched 32 scoreless innings and won all 4 of his starts. Ford pitched most of his games to this man, number 7 on my list, Yogi Berra. In addition to being the most quotable person to ever set foot on a baseball diamond, he was an all-star every season from 1948 to 62, accumulating 10 World Series rings, batting .274 in 75 games with a dozen home runs. Berra was only 5'7", but he packed quite a wallop. Among catchers, only Mike Piazza, Johnny Bench, and Carlton Fisk hit more home runs than Berra, and his 1,430 RBI stand still as the most in Major League Baseball history by a catcher. Berra had a 7-year peak from 50 to 56. He finished top 4 in the AL MVP race in all 7 years, winning the award in 1951, 54, and 55. He batted .295 during this time, averaging 27 home runs and 108 RBI. Coming in at number 6, the captain and the newest addition to the Baseball Hall of Fame, Derek Jeter. Beginning with his 1996 American League Rookie of the Year campaign, Jeter played in at least 148 games and registered at least 179 hits, 10 homers, 11 stolen bases in 14 of his 15 seasons. He finished his career in 6th place on the all-time hits list. He never won an MVP, but he did finish in the top 10 in voting 8 times. The closest call was 2006 when Jeter batted .343 and finished just 14 votes behind Justin Morneau for the honor. 14 All-Star appearances, 5 Gold Glove awards, 5 Silver Sluggers. He won an All-Star MVP and a World Series MVP to boot. Like so many others on this list, Jeter was also a postseason legend. He batted .308 with 200 hits and 20 home runs and 158 career playoff games, including being the 2000 World Series MVP. Mr. November slides in at number 6. And then there were 5. Coming in at number 5, the greatest closer of all time cracks the top half of this top 10. The Sandman, Mariano Rivera, the only perfect Hall of Famer. The 13-time All-Star had a cut fastball that gave opposing players nightmares. He broke more than his fair share of bats en route to 4 top 3 finishes in the AL Cy Young race. Rivera also finished in the top 15 of the AL MVP vote 6 times. What Rivera did in his postseason career is almost incomprehensible. In 141 innings of work, he had a .70 ERA, .70. He has the lowest career postseason ERA, despite pitching at least twice as many innings as 8 of the other 9 players in those top 10. And on the career list of postseason saves, there isn't even a close runner-up. Rivera has 42. Of course he does, 42, the last man to ever wear 42. Coming in at number 4, Mickey Mantle. From 1955 to 62, Mantle batted .315 and averaged 40 home runs and 101 RBI per year. He finished top 5 in the AL MVP race 7 times during that stretch, including winning in 1956, 57, and 62. In both 60 and 61, he finished fewer than 5 votes behind teammate Roger Maris for the honor. 1956 was the unforgettable season, though. That's the year that he would win the Triple Crown. The greatest switch hitter in the history of the game batted .353 with 52 home runs and 130 RBI, leading the American League in all 3 categories. He is just one of 4 players in the last 7 decades to achieve the Triple Crown. Mantle is the career leader in runs, home runs, and RBI in the World Series, putting up 42, 18, and 40 respectively in 65 career games. Mantle played in 12 World Series, helping the Yankees win 7 of them. From one great center fielder to another, the 3rd greatest Yankee on my list of the top greatest of all time is Joe DiMaggio. World War II took Joe D away from baseball for 3 years during his prime, yet he still managed to become one of the best there ever was. As a rookie, DiMaggio batted .323 with 29 homers and 125 RBI, and he was just getting warmed up. He proceeded to belt at least 30 homers with 125 or more RBI in each of the next 5 seasons. He inexplicably did not win the MVP in 1937 while batting .346 with 46 home runs, but he did win the vote in 1939, 1941, and 1947. DiMaggio was an all-star in every season that he played, and he finished top 10 in the MVP vote 10 times. Despite only playing 13 years, DiMaggio was part of 9 World Series champions. In at number 2, the Iron Horse. He plays second fiddle to few, but stick around for who's at number 1. Long before becoming the namesake of ALS, Lou Gehrig was an unstoppable force for the Pinstripers. He played in 2,130 consecutive games and dominated most of them. From 1927 to 38, the Iron Horse had 12 straight seasons of at least 27 home runs and 114 RBI. In 5 of those years, he topped 40 home runs. He also had 7 seasons with at least 150 RBI. Gehrig won the AL MVP in 1927 and 1936. He finished in the top 5 in 6 other occasions. And if World Series MVP honors had been awarded when he was playing, he certainly would have won it in 1928 and 1932. He batted .545 with 4 home runs and 9 RBI in the former, and .529 with 3 dingers and 8 RBI in the latter. For his career, he hit .361 in the postseason, pacing the Yankees to 6 championships. That leaves us with the clear choice at number 1, the Sultan of SWAT, the King of Crash, the Great Bambino. He hit at least 41 home runs in 11 of his first 13 seasons with the Yankees. And his first 5 seasons after Boston sold his rights to New York and he abandoned his pitching career, Ruth batted .370 and averaged 47 home runs and 131 RBI. His OPS during that half-decade was .288, which is nothing short of outrageous. Don't get me started on the playoffs. In 36 career games, Ruth batted .347 with 15 home runs, 30 RBI, and a .285 OPS in the World Series. Over a full season, that's a pace of 68 home runs and 135 RBI. That's how I ranked my top 10 Yanks. Agree? Disagree? Share your thoughts with me at The Voice Bobby C on social media. Tune in Monday for the top 10 moments in Yankee Stadium history. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.